Okay, we're going to start with this demonstration now, and I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you, first of all, how to do the water infiltration test, and then I'm going to show you how to collect the soil samples for the soil aggregation that I will do. Okay, so number one, you're going to need some supplies. I will leave all these supplies outside my office door on Monday morning. You need a bucket or a couple of buckets with water. You need some kind of a measuring container. I use something like this. You got to calibrate it ahead of time. It should be 400 milliliters of water. So I usually fill this up right to the top. This particular one's a little bit raggedy here, but you fill it up to the top. You're going to need the rings. You're going to need a mallet. Only use a rubber one so you don't damage the rings too much. And you're going to need some plastic. Okay, so what you do is you start by pounding the ring in evenly into the soil. And for your situation over there, you got to work with Andreas to decide where on the orchard floor you're going to put the rings. Either very near the trees or where the cover crop was, away from the tractor lines. You guys decide where to put them there. You put the ring in about, 2 inches so that it's got 2 inches above the soil surface. You lay the plastic out on top of the ring and make sure there are no holes in the plastic that you're using there. Pat down the plastic with your fingertips like that so that you get it down there, and then you fill up your measuring container with water and carefully put the water on top of the plastic, and it'll just stay there. All right? Now, when you're ready to do your test, you click your watch or your phone stopwatch, and you just do it very simply. You remove the plastic, and you'll get a feel for this after a while. Or have your partner do it here. Ready, set, go. And you time the amount of time in seconds that it takes for half of that area of the ring, the surface, to disappear with water. So right now, I'll move the camera over in a minute so you see what I'm saying here. But what you want to do is you want to have half of that surface with no water on it, disappearing. And that's the time that you call good there. So we're not quite there yet. We've got a ways to go. This is kind of a slow infiltrating area here. There's water already in there. Try to be very careful that you keep the same water content in the soil when you're doing this, okay? You're going to have to choose places that are even there. So now we're starting to get some of the soil surface popping through and showing underneath the water there, or above the water actually. So now you're getting closer to the time you'd call half, 50% there. I don't know if you can see that with the camera angle very well there, but I would, once 50% of the surface has infiltrated, you call that your end time. All right, and I'd be tempted to go pretty, well, there's still a little bit of extra water in there. I would call it right now. So whatever number of seconds that was, that's your end time, and you record that as your data. Okay, everyone, what I'm going to do today is show you how to install the rings for the water infiltration. So we're in a pretend orchard here. What I would do is work with Andreas to decide where you're going to put the rings in relation to the trees, how far away or whatever. You guys decide that, all right? That needs to be your decision about where to place the rings. But then what you get the ring is, I would use this, I'll leave the 4 rings, and I'll leave this rubber mallet outside my office door at the Kearney Ag Center, and you can borrow them, but then bring them back when you're finished. One end is tapered or beveled, and it's sharp here. Be careful you don't hurt yourself. The other end is not. What I would do is get a piece of 2x4 and just pound on this so you're not hurting the ring there. Then what you do is you just very evenly go round and round and round. Try to get it to go in straight or as evenly as you can. I'm kind of lucky here. This is not at all hard because this particular place is a little bit wet and it's going in pretty easily. I can pretty much guarantee you that in your orchards on Manning and Dinuba Avenues, you're going to have much harder soil, and you're gonna spend a lot of time working very hard pounding the rings into the ground. So if you're not used to that kind of hard pounding, it's not going to be easy for you, but it's just got to be done then. All right, once you get the ring in about, I'd say this depth here, and what this is here is right about here, okay? About 1.5 inches or 2 inches. You got to have it more than 1 inch because we're going to put 1 inch of water in here. What you'll then do is you'll put the plastic over this area here. So cut a piece of plastic, and I'll give you some plastic. I'll leave that out there. And then you carefully measure, I think it's 400 milliliters of water. And what I usually do is just, take a simple plastic water jug or something, cut the top off, and just so that it's exactly 400 milliliters. And then you put the plastic on top here, push your fingers down like this so that the plastic goes down, and then very carefully pour the water on top of the plastic. Okay, that's how you set up the ring infiltrometer. Then you get your stopwatch, all right, your clock or your wristwatch or whatever, your phone, and you carefully pull the ring of the plastic out so that the water starts going into the soil. Once it does that, you look very carefully, and when 1/2 of the area of that whole ring there is infiltrated, and the other half can still be glistening or it can still have water ponded on it, you stop. You say, that's good, that's half the area has infiltrated, and you call that the time. You record the time for 1 inch of water to infiltrate into the soil, with half the area invisible. You don't have any more water ponding on the surface. That's your stop time, okay? I'll go get some plastic and I'll show you what this looks like there so you can see one. We'll do it in again one more time. All right. Now, the other thing you're going to do for me is you're going to collect with a shovel. You're going to find some area of the soil. Again, Andreas can tell you where he wants you to sample. But you want to go where the cover crop was so that you see that the effect of the cover crop treatment. And all I want you to do is take the surface 4 or so inches, a soil sample like this. Take 2 of these kind of things, and you put this amount of soil times 2 in a paper bag, and then leave that somewhere in the dry or the wet lab room down at the end of my building there for me in bags that you have labeled there. So you take one shovel, put it in the bag. Take another shovel in the same area there, just the surface 4 inches of soil. And what I will be analyzing are what are called aggregates, something like, well, let me see, this size here maybe. So I want thumb size aggregates like that, and I'll just randomly pull them out of the bag there. So you're going to do the infiltration to 50% of the water disappearing, and you're going to collect a bag for each plot for the aggregate stability. All right. Good luck. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm trying another camera. I'm trying my iPhone camera right now, and I just to test it out with a microphone that I got in here. But that's what I want to show you. Once you've done that first inch of water, you let it all go in like what's happened here. So this ring has had 1 inch of water into it now. Then you put the plastic back over the ring, all right, like I'm doing here, and I'll get my finger out of the way there. The wind is blowing now. You put the plastic back in there like that. You fill up one more container of water to 400 milliliters, put the water onto the plastic like that, and then you're going to do your second inch. So you got to be careful here. I was kind of sloppy there. Your second inch goes like this. You carefully remove the plastic, and as you do so, you start your timer, your stopwatch, and then you start the number of seconds until half of that area has infiltrated, or the water is in the soil there. Now the second inch is going to take quite a bit longer. All right, so You're just going to have to sit out there, get a chair, get a canopy or a tarp or a hat, and lots of water when you're out there because it's going to be hot. But it just takes a long time right now. This could take, I don't know, many tens of minutes here. So this particular soil is not very fast, and it's also wet here. I would try to do this when it's uniformly dry in your field there or in your orchard, okay? That will make it a little bit easier, I think, in terms of the time it's going to take there. But I won't wait out here for all this to take here. But you got to just half of it. Let's say that half underneath my hand had disappeared and gone into the soil. That's when you call the end point there. All right, if you still got water that's on the soil 50% or so and it's glistening, that's okay. But if 50% has infiltrated, that's what you call. All right, I'll stop now.